So you just purchased a subscription to Surfshark VPN, or maybe you are still thinking about it. Well, very nice. It's a pretty darn good choice. But actually, the question is, what now? And don't worry, I've got you here in this video. I've been testing VPNs for a living for more than a decade, and you can check my YouTube channel for this because, yeah, it's been a while since I started testing these VPN services. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Anyway, Surfshark is the one I actually run on my own machine. And here's the thing, most people never touch like 80% of what they're actually paying for. So in the next 10 minutes, let me show you everything that actually matters from the initial setup to the advanced features most tutorials really just skip. So if you're trying to access Netflix from another country, protect your privacy while torrenting, or maybe you're just frustrated with some streaming issues that we've been having, I'll cover it all in this video. And stick around for the part where I show you alternative ID. Honestly, it's the most useful thing Surfshark has done for casual users in probably years. And by the end of this tutorial, you'll be using Surfshark like a pro, so let's get into it. All right, let's start with the setup. And it's actually super easy. It's not really technical. About 3 minutes, like from download to protected. And here's exactly what to do. First of all, you've got to grab the installer. You can just run it and you follow the install steps, and it works pretty similarly for all the major operating systems. Oh, and real quick, if you still haven't paid for a plan, you can head to the description box below and you'll find the best Surfshark deals we negotiated exclusively for Cloudwards viewers. So you save yourself some money, and you can also thank me later for that. But also, obviously, you help the channel develop and you help me make more of these kinds of videos, because we're not sponsored by any VPN providers. We are just going to get a small kickback if you sign up through one of our links. So thank you very much. All right. So I created my account when I signed up. So when Surfshark opens, all I have to do is enter my email address and my password, and that's it. I mean, I'm already in. The app opens right to the main screen with this big, beautiful connect button. You can't really actually miss it and do anything wrong. It's staring right at you, right? So you just click it and done, right? You are connected. So in my testing, I'm hooked up to the VPN in, well, I would say about 5 seconds every single time. It obviously depends a little bit like where you are in the world, to what server you're connecting. So if you're connected to some remote server in whatever Africa, then it might take a little longer than if you connect to one of the faster servers in Europe or the US. If you want to check that this thing is actually working, that it's actually protecting you, well, you gotta check your IP address. So I won't show, obviously, my IP address right now, what my unprotected is, but so when I type into what is my IP into Google, you can see that Google has this service where it shows your current IP address. So you have to do this once, basically before you connect to the VPN, and then another time after connecting to the VPN. So you can see, okay, yes, my IP address really changed. That's really now Surfshark protecting me, right? And I run this check on every VPN I review, basically, to just be sure, okay, my IP has really changed. There are other tools out there that go a little bit deeper into like how the VPN is set up, and you can dig deeper into the security settings. I'm not going to cover this here in this video. If you're interested, leave a comment so I go a little bit more into the nitty-gritty on how to set up everything securely so your fingerprint, your overall fingerprint that you have online, is well covered and you cannot be identified by the major advertisers. So if your IP did not change, it means that the VPN is not working. It's simple as that. Okay, so that's essentially the basics. Now let me show you how to pick specific servers, because that's important if you want to do certain things with your VPN. And Surfshark, as I said before, is pretty much plug and play. But if you want a little, let's say, more control, you can pick these specific servers yourself. So it's not like, okay, click a button and then you're connected. You want to actually go into the nitty-gritty details. Now, see the location section right here? You can scroll through it to see, obviously, the list of countries. And if you're looking for something specific, you can also use the search bar at the top. So I'll type in Japan, and all the Japanese servers, they pop up. So some countries have a little drop-down arrow, basically, if they've got multiple city locations. So sometimes maybe one city doesn't work, so you can hop into a different city that has a bit of a stronger server. So if I click, for example, on the United States, I see different options. I see Boston, I see New York, I see Buffalo, I see Detroit, and so on. And there are a lot of options here. So you can pick one and then you click it. Now, basically, I'm on a New York server with a New York IP address. Boom. That simple. And if you find a server you like, you click that little star icon next to it right here, and you'll get a favorite sections with all the servers you want quick access to. During my testing, I mean, this is the feature I probably use the most. It's a great way to switch servers if things are running slow without going through the entire list and see basically what's wrong. For me, I really like Surfshark's interface. The desktop and the mobile versions are, I mean, they're pretty much the same. So see how it organizes everything or all the servers into tabs, like next to locations. The static IP tab gives you the same IP every time. And MultiHop uses double VPN connections. And I'll go over both of those in more detail in a moment. So don't worry if you don't understand what's really going on. Then there is dedicated IP here at the end. And this costs extra, mind you, roughly $4 a month. Honestly, I think most of you probably have no use for this. But if you're setting up like a remote access to your device while the VPN is on, it is certainly a must, and it's also more reliable for bypassing VPN block lists. But honestly, I haven't encountered any websites or any services that blocked my regular Surfshark connections anyway. So speaking of services, that's obviously something that most of you want to do, and it's streaming time. So this is probably why you're here, I guess, right? So let's start with a big one, Netflix. And here is how I get this working. So say I want to watch US shows while I'm on vacation, right? I open Netflix and it shows me the library of my current location, right? So then you guessed it, if I connect to a US server and I open Netflix in a fresh incognito window, I'm seeing shows that are only available in the US. Now, what a lot of people think is that, okay, I need a US Netflix account to see the shows in the US, which is not right. Netflix shows you the shows based on the country you're in. So I could have signed up for Netflix in Albania and traveled to Canada. I would then see all the shows that are available in Canada as well. But fortunately, with a VPN, I don't have to travel, right? I can just travel wherever I want. I connect to the US server and then have the maximum amount of shows available to me. Some shows are not available in the US, so you might want to connect to a Swedish server or some Spanish servers because there are some other shows available. But this is a little bit hacky, and it's time for another video. If you're interested in that, please leave a comment below so we can cover that here on the channel as well. In my testing, I mean, there are also other streaming services. HBO Max worked perfectly fine. Peacock loaded essentially right away. Even Paramount Plus didn't give me any trouble. So every major streaming service let me in, and only Disney Plus made me try a couple of different servers before it really worked, because it seems to be a little bit more of a hard ass when it comes to like blocking locations it doesn't like. And honestly, that's way better than I expected. Now, there is a small chance that Netflix or other platforms might block you. And then if that happens, here's exactly what to do. Now, you gotta disconnect from the current server. You got to pick a different city in the same country, and you simply try again. Sometimes streamers like block specific server IPs, and switching to another server in the same location usually fixes any of that. And before we jump into the nitty-gritty settings, I have a quick favor to ask. If this tutorial is really helpful so far, a quick like obviously helps us keep making content like this. And make sure to subscribe too if you are not already subscribed. And let's get back to the video, because I promised you something that most people probably ignore. All right, time for my favorite part, and this is obviously these days very important as well, which is security. Let's check out the security settings. You can click on the settings icon from the menu on the left and choose VPN settings. And here's the thing. The defaults, they're fine, right? they work, but a few of these toggles really matter if you want to get the most out of your subscription. First thing you need to turn on is the kill switch, and let me show you the options. I set mine to soft, which blocks the internet if the VPN accidentally disconnects. And there's also a strict options right here that kills your connection even if you manually disconnect the VPN. That's overkill for most people. And honestly, I'm not crazy about how Surfshark labels these. Like soft versus strict isn't like super intuitive. Like what does it actually do? But well, to each their own, right? Near the top, you'll see a button called Auto Connect. I normally turn this on and also set the app to launch on startup. So with this enabled, Surfshark automatically connects when my computer boots up, right? I love this because sometimes I just forget to connect manually and then I'm browsing unprotected like an idiot, right? So, and this is really, really helpful. Especially if you're traveling a lot with your laptop and you are connected in public Wi-Fi's, you absolutely must activate this feature. Now the protocol settings, they are right below the kill switch. I keep mine on automatic most of the time, and I let basically Surfshark choose whatever is best in the current scenario. In my testing, it defaults to WireGuard most of the time, which is like the fastest and modern protocol around. And when I ran speed tests on my home connection, WireGuard consistently came out on top. You don't need to mess with this unless like you're having connection issues or you have like a very specific use case for why you need a different protocol type here. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the advanced features. First up, the bypasser, and that's Surfshark's name for split tunneling, the most common name in the VPN industry. And it lets you essentially choose which apps go through the VPN and which ones essentially don't. So let me show you how this works. Now, you head back to the settings menu and you click on the bypasser. So you'll see essentially two options under apps. You see route via VPN or bypass VPN. And this is great for gaming. And here's the actual config I run. My browser through the VPN for privacy all the time, essentially. My games on the regular connection for super low ping times. Just click this drop down right here, find the executable, basically you want to bypass the VPN, and hit add apps. And then you are pretty much done with this setup. Next is a feature called MultiHop. And we're now back on the main interface, obviously, and this routes your connection through two different VPN servers instead of just one for like an extra layer of security. So you click the MultiHop tab in the servers list. And first you'll see this list of pre-made server pairs, if you will. And this one, for example, it routes via Frankfurt and also via London. Two pretty fast service if you are in Europe. But here's what's actually cool about it, right? Surfshark now has what's called dynamic MultiHop. That means you can match any two servers yourself. And here's how to do it, right? I click Create Connection down here, and then I'll set this up to connect via France and let's say the UK. And then I'll hit Connect and boom, there we go. I'm connected through both countries, but dynamic MultiHop generally hits your speed harder than the preset pairs. In my testing, the preset routes were smarter. It were basically smarter pick if speed mattered at all. But the question is, like, when would you actually use this? Let's say you are a journalist, you have to protect your sources, or you're an activist in a restrictive country, or you like to spend a bunch of time on the Tor network for whatever reason, right? Yeah, so MultiHop makes a lot of sense here. For everyday Netflix watching, honestly, it's totally overkill. You probably will not need this. Alternative ID. I teased it already in the intro that this is like one of the newer features here, and it is, well, it's really worth looking at it and worth knowing about. It generates a fake identity. So fake name, fake address, fake email. And let me show you what I mean. First, find it in the left side menu on desktop app right here. And here's how it works. I click the Generate New ID, and with a single click, I've got an Australian identity with a valid looking address in Sydney. When a service demands personal information you'd rather not hand over, you can use this instead, and the generated email actually forwards to your real inbox, which is pretty clever. Now, a small thing to know here. Alternative ID is desktop only, so you will not find it inside the mobile app. That's it for the dedicated desktop app, but I also want to show you something else. It's called CleanWeb, and that's Surfshark's ad blocker. And to use this, I need to use the Surfshark browser extension. And you could download the extension from the Chrome Web Store, if you still use Chrome, or directly from Surfshark's website. And obviously, I'll leave a link in the description box below for easy access. Okay, so now I just open the Surfshark extension up here. And here you see a pretty similar interface to the desktop app. But the most eagle-eyed of you might have noticed this extra menu button down here. And that's CleanWeb, right? I'll just click it. And in here, I'll toggle it on. And voila, that's it. Now, let's give it a quick test. I'll just open adblocktester.com right here. And look at that. It got almost a perfect score. Now, check out this new site. It's just obviously full of ads, right? But watch what happens with CleanWeb on. Now, let's update it. And the banners are essentially gone. The pop-ups are gone. It's just the content that you want to read without any distractions. Really nice. Okay, now, last section, I promise. Let's talk troubleshooting. VPNs can be a bit, I would say, quirky, and Surfshark is probably no different. So if things go wrong, which might happen, here are like 3 fixes I always try first. Honestly, I've had very few issues with Surfshark, but if your connection seems slow or it won't connect to a server, like here are a couple of things to try. Start with essentially the easiest one, switch to closest server. Now, if that doesn't fix it, try switching your protocol to WireGuard manually. I showed you how to do this earlier, so I won't waste your time going over it again. Just pop back into the settings and set it to WireGuard. Still slow? Well, toggle CleanWeb off temporarily. Now, if you're getting full connection issues rather than just slow speeds, try resetting the app. And here's also where to find it. Now, inside the settings, head to Get Help, and then click on Troubleshooting Tools. You'll see Reset Network and Restore Original Settings. Start with Reset Network, and if that doesn't help, try Restore Original Settings. Just remember that you'll have to like redo all the setup we went through earlier if you do this. All right, so here is the bottom line. Surfshark, properly configured, is a pretty solid choice for the money, in my opinion. You got clean app, all the key features, I mean, a fair price. It's certainly not perfect, and you'll lose a little speed on dynamic multi-hop. The ad blocker isn't like a replacement for uBlock. The dedicated IP costs extra, and alternative ID is, at least for now, desktop only. But honestly, those are all like really the main complaints I have, and in the grand scheme of things, they're pretty minor. So if you run into any issues I didn't cover, please drop a comment and I'll help you sort it out. Also, hit like and subscribe for more VPN tutorials. I test these things constantly to keep the recommendations current. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.